welcome to Asylum, welcome to Painting Discourse. I'm happy to be here again with you. I hope that you are ready for another day of painting, classical wall painting, right? So, well, actually, I have to start with, please do not watch this video because this is not entertainment stream. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to actually work alongside with you. I'm here to paint alongside with you. So the only way how to enjoy this kind of stream is to grab your pencils, papers, brushes, whatever medium that you like to create work of art with. It could be digital. If you're a sculptor, it could be sculpting. If you're actually writing or writing music, you can also join this stream as well, because this is more about the creative process rather than just paint by number or paint, step-by-step instructional video. There is plenty of these kind of videos online that you can check out. This is more about seeing behind the scenes of these flashy, cool videos where painters are, mix this color and you place it there. I want to show you how long does it take to actually figure out the whole process. And then not only when we talk about mixing, we talk about the preparation, we talk about drawings, adjustments, repainting, different techniques like glazing, scumbling, dry brush, all that kind of fun stuff. Thinking about this as a video that you watch for 3 or 4 hours, then you're gonna go sleep and you're gonna wake up and you're gonna know how to paint, you're gonna be disappointed. So I have to tell you as a disclaimer that ain't gonna happen. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, please let me know what's the secret behind this, because I mentioned this multiple times. This is part of the information that I'm trying to discuss all the time. Probably would be the best way. A best way to put it is that most of these questions and ideas that we have are really theoretical, abstract, you might want to say. Almost philosophical. I am actually willing to go even to that territory, and then answers are in practice, right? So unless you really push yourself to work with the paintbrush or with the digital medium or with the clay, whatever, or penning, it doesn't really matter. Unless you really push yourself to do actual work, it's not going to have any effect. So that would be about the intro of how to actually approach this type of stream. I don't even know if these kind of streams exist. So if not, then you're in the right place. And since this is a painting discourse, I always discuss certain things during the process of painting. There is another disclaimer: if I just stop in the middle of the sentence and I'm not talking, it's that because all my brain capacity is focused on painting. So I apologize in advance to all of you that either ask question or or waiting for a coherent answer. You're not gonna get them here either. So I don't know. This is not really. I shouldn't really promote myself because this is just the stuff that you have to expect. I don't want you to be disappointed. And this is a long form of stream, and the reason why I'm doing it is because I want to show you that even if you have experience with the painting, even if you have a concrete and certain idea about what you want to paint, and you have figured out certain things about your composition or about the palette and how to mix the pigments, it's a long process. Unfortunately, with oil paint, we cannot skip certain step. We cannot, not necessarily lie, we cannot trick ourselves to go and work faster. It's a form of I don't know, it's a form of marathon compared to a sprint. We don't have Control Z for those of you who work digital. We don't have undo buttons. The only thing that we have, it's a paint. In my case, right, because I'm working with oil paint, and the idea of repaint everything that you don't like. So, and it takes time. It takes time. Sometimes you have to wait between drying times. Sometimes it's just not going the way that you want to, so you have to, you know, look at something else and move away from that particular project that you're working on. This is not necessarily mass productions of paintings. This is more about that, you know, I am a painter. I really focus on one thing, and I'm trying to improve not only the skill, but also a narrative. And, you know, when I say narrative, I mean that I'm trying to convey better thoughts that I am trying to communicate with the viewers. You're gonna hear certain things repeating through this stream all the time, and the reason is because the painting, and oil painting in particular, it's a lot of repetition. It's a lot of trial and error, you know, and then sometimes you have a little success. So keep this in mind. Don't get frustrated with, you know, things not going your way immediately. I like to think about these streams as me showing you all the mistakes that I do, because it's inevitable in painting, and it's a work. You have to labor it sometimes. Sometimes it goes very easy and quick, and it also depends on the decisions that you make. My personal experience is that it's a little bit of both, or actually it's a lot of mistakes and a little bit of success throughout these mistakes. But then, you know, those moments of success are that much more interesting and, you know, uplifting. So paint alongside with me. You know, if you have doubts, if you feel uncomfortable with your work, if you feel like, oh, this is not going the way that I want to. It's happening to me, and it's happening to every painter who has a little bit of critical thinking. I don't have a master here that will correct me. This is not you know, the classical school environment. Then, you know, if you don't know what to do, master is going to save the day. You are your own master. You have to really be critical with your own work, and trust me. Being alone in the studio and seeing your mistakes, you know, just glaring at you, really actually jumping at you from the canvas on a daily basis might be depressing. But, you know, only if you let it to be depressing. So I'm looking at it as everything that I cannot do in real life, to just go out and, you know, be crazy. I can be crazy actually here. So if you have a frustrations, just put them there. Well, canvas is going to take it. Trust me, the oil paint can take a lot of frustration. Oil paint can take a lot of happiness as well, right? So every emotion that you have and you want to experiment with and translate it to a visual imagery, in my case particularly, go for it. Don't be afraid. No one's going to see it. And I'm thinking about this, that no one is looking at that, so I can just, you know, just be free. And also tomorrow I have a bed painting Friday segment where I am really just having fun. I'm just, you know, I put some challenges for myself, and I give myself a goal, and I'm trying to focus only on that goal, one particular part of a painting, right? So either it's just a paint application, or mixing, or, you know, edges, or I don't know, whatever that one particular set of issues that I have with my painting. I need to address. I usually then talk about that during these bad painting Fridays, which are really fun. I really like them. I thought that it's going to be a stupid idea, but I like them more and more. So you're more than welcome to join me tomorrow. I'm going to be working on something smaller because I have another corner right next to me here that I set it up only for these bad painting Fridays, where I will dive deeper into these basics, these fundamentals, and you have a better zoom on the canvas because I'm working with a smaller canvas. This is unrealistic for me to actually put it into camera in its entirety because I would be always in the frame. Yeah. That's probably it for introduction. Hopefully you're already set up with your project, and let's get right into it. As you know, I work most of the time with I just lost the track of what I was saying. So let me start again. Let's do a little quick recap from yesterday. I was working on the portrait, and I'm not happy yet with the result of this portrait. But what I'm happy with is that I actually made the decision to start working on it. It was long overdue. To work on that portrait. I was hesitating. So think right now about your painting and what you're doing with your paints, and think about how or what is that part that you are really hesitating with to address, either because you think it's difficult to execute, or you think you painted it good and you're satisfied with it and you don't want to mess with it. Well, these are the red flags that might actually, and not necessarily a red flags. These are the helpers, or these kind of thoughts or emotions can really be helpful in terms of guiding you through the process of painting. It's actually helping me more than you think. And I'm not saying that that's the only way how to control yourself, but I think that that's the most honest way of thinking about it. So I pushed the portrait a little bit. I'm not satisfied, like I said, with how that portrait looks, but at least I adjusted the certain things. And today I came to a studio and I was immediately kind of refreshed that, oh, I addressed that problem. Why haven't I done it sooner? Well, there's a multiple reasons why I didn't do such a thing, and probably you would find excuses for why didn't you do it in your painting as well. But then when I boil it down to a core, when I really go and I'm honest with myself, because the painting is in front of me and you can see it, I can see it. I can tell I was just afraid to move it because I wasn't sure if I can make it better. Keep one thing in mind. No matter what people are going to tell you about these, fresh kind of one brushstroke feelings, is that you can always replicate it. The painting has its, ups and downs, and it's like a frequency, right? And some areas, like around here, they got dull. Yes, because I started to, develop the form, and I lost touch with a kind of overall feel of that painting. That is okay. I stopped myself. I stepped back. I said, okay, I'm not going to be working here anymore because I'm trying to correct. This problem here. And it's not working. I'm not saying that it was a mistake. I had to go there to see that, okay, this is not the way how to do and how to proceed and how to continue with painting rather. So I'll stop myself, and I realized that, okay, I need to push face a little bit more to give me a little bit more clarity, uh, set up the wider range of values. Instead of using 3 or 4 values, I went to 7 values, so I can go all the way, I can go closer to white and closer to darkest darks. Why? Because this is my focal point. That was the first step, and then I realized, okay, I need to frame that portrait a little bit better, so I changed the area around the shoulders. That was another step, and I immediately realized that, oh, I figured it out what's happening here. Right now I need to make sure that I understand what's here and here. I should have done that yesterday and go there yesterday, but then I thought, okay, I'm gonna go here. This is going to be overpowering, and I'm going to be judging it off of the face that it's not really properly painted, or not properly painted. I'm not satisfied with it. So let me just go into that face first. And right now I'm here. I'm satisfied with this little bit more. I can start focusing on what's happening here with his arms and the stuff that he's holding. So that's going to be probably the name of the game for today. And the moment I'm done and I'm satisfied with it, and the moment that I will have the feeling that these two figures are connected, not only through the fact that they are on the same canvas, I'm way more interested in a part of they're connected as a composition, as abstract shapes that communicate or evoke certain feelings or ideas or concerns, fill the blank for the viewer and for me as well, because, keep in mind, why would you paint something that you don't want to look at? Right? Think about it. Why would you paint something that you don't like and you don't want to look at? But if you're doing that, you're probably, I don't know, you are an interior designer that was commissioned with a commission that the commission is, oh, I have a yellow sofa. I need some yellow picture in my apartment. Well, it might be one of the reasons why you are painting something that you don't want, and you're going to have these moments. I have these moments. My colleagues have these moments, and then if you check the previous streams, or if you check the archive with live streams on YouTube, you will see that I painted a knight. It was a character design done old school, for no other benefit, only for me feeling better that I'm painting what I like to paint. That's how I refresh myself, because I have commissions that I don't want to do. I have commissions that I'm really pushing myself. Okay, let's pick up the paper, let's do some sketches, because the time when I have to frame this painting and sell it, or actually hang it into a gallery, it's closing up. And I said that I'm going to work on the commission starting this week, and it's Thursday today, I believe. Hey, yeah, Thursday, and I didn't even call that person that I'm supposed to meet and get that get the props that I need for this commission painting portrait. Full, and the funny thing is that I have a month and a half by the end of this commission, and I don't even have a canvas primed and prepared, right? So yeah, so let's do something that makes me happy, and I will forget about all the commission paintings, right? So remember, and this goes for everything that you do with your paint, if you mix the paint or the color or the hue or the temperature and you don't like that paint, why would you put it on canvas if you from the get-go don't like it, right? So yeah, so that's like me explaining something through 20 minutes tangent that I like to go on all the time. So, and you can see me standing here talking to you, and I'm actually talking to myself more than anything, and I'm trying to analyze what's happening. I'm trying to be rational. I'm trying to be, very, how would I put this? Objective towards what's happening. Even though it's impossible, I'm trying to do my best. And if you don't have a mirror, just immediately grab a mirror and check your painting through the mirror. Stand up, walk around, put it upside down, lay it flat. Put other paintings next to it that you executed, and ask yourself, maybe you are picking up always the same pigments, and every painting looks the same color-wise, right? So put some fresh painting next to it, or just squeeze a fresh paint out of a tube and just lay down. I actually did it yesterday. At the end, there was a question from you guys that why is it all in that kind of a gloomy day? Well, multiple reasons, but the most important part is that it has to work for me. It has to work in that kind of a gloomy environment, and then I can manipulate and decide through. I have linear perspective, atmospheric perspective, edges, shapes, volumes, hues, negative spaces. There's so many things. How can I create a beautiful composition? And on top of it, I also want to add a saturation. So the places that I want to saturate are going to lead you through that painting. So I am reserving and I'm kind of keeping it calm. So it works on that very basic level, which is dark against light, not light against shadow, dark shape against the light shape. That's what I'm thinking about. And they don't need to be, dark shapes are not necessarily shadows for me. And it actually took me a while to understand that a dark shape does not necessarily represent the shadow, and that kind of opened that a little bit more of that creativity, more of that potential of creativity, not being just so concerned and and focused on, oh, so if the light is here, I have to have this shadow, because if it's not there, it's not like from a real life. It's a painting. It's an illusion of a real life, right? So you can't expect it to be a real life, right? So have fun with certain things. Push it a little bit more to the extreme. Make it, make a clown painting if that will help you. Then because you can use these bright colors, right? So yeah. So that's what I did yesterday, and today, and you can. I was showing it to you yesterday, I believe, or the last stream rather, and I had I brought the fabrics. I did little how would you call it, fit check? No, I did a little clothing session with myself. I have a mirror right there, so if you see me at any point just being like this, draped with some fabric, you have to understand that I'm using myself as a reference for the painting, and I have mirrors here all over the place, and I will just evaluate everything through the mirror to help me navigate myself through that process of checking my proportions and my anatomy and so on and so forth, and composition, right? So yeah, so grab your mirrors, get ready to analyze your painting, and I don't want to tell you to be brutally honest, but be realistic, at least realistic. If you are afraid to go that deep into your into yourself and be brutally honest, because it's damaging for you. That at least be realistic. That's that. Whoa, okay, so let's look at this upside down. I think that the composition, the silhouette of positive space, and I'm talking about this right now. So right, it's all this all the way right here to this point. It works really well. I like it, and I'm surprised that I like it as much, because and it's probably because it's really difficult to create for me, and I'm talking mostly about myself. It's difficult for me to create kind of a nice, randomized, chaotic outside edge when it comes to heads, because somehow that's difficult for me. I don't know why. Somehow that's difficult for me. That's something that work a little bit. That work a little bit against me. But right now I'm satisfied. I created that kind of a pockets of 2. I have 3s. I have these 2. It kind of works. I'm satisfied with it. So so that works as a shape. Then I created this kind of, that S curve that goes here with the heads, which that was the main point with this particular fragment. And you can see that even though I'm working on fragment, right, the fragment from a larger painting or sketch that is going to be the actual full painting, I am composing within this fragment. I eliminated certain parts from here because I felt that they were distracting from the overall composition. That's the beauty of creating these support. I'm going to call them supporting painting. This is the main course, and these are, I don't know, appetizers, right? So I'm trying to compose within a composition. So no one ever expects this to be a painting that holds on its own, but while I'm painting it, why not to try to do that, right? Why not to push yourself and compose all the time? Composition within the composition, it really sharpens your skill to see, to adjust, to analyze it properly, and then not only that, then perhaps you push yourself with these experiments to correct it, right? You saw me moving the head, moving the eyes of the portraits, the overall shape, the feeling, and it's because I am not afraid to move facial features, because trust me, learn how to paint the eyes. It's not that difficult. Learn how to paint the eyes like Rembrandt, that they talk to you and convey certain emotion, or direct you through the process of thinking, or navigate you through that thought that he trying to add to his paintings. That's the difficult part, right? Remember that this is just, everybody can learn how to draw eye, and I'm 100% positive that everybody can, because every one of you, I believe, know how to write and read. That's a skill. Painting, know how to paint, it's a skill. That's not a talent. That's not something that God decided to give it to you. No, you repeated same motions over and over again, and you grow up that muscle memory. That's it. Question is, can you right now do something with it? And if you're just sitting and watching this video, you're wasting your time. So stop doing it. Yeah, okay. So I have that little session. I have my digital medium ready because I want to, I'm going to be working with draperies, and that, trust me, that's something that I am scared of. I'm not scared of. I don't feel comfortable with draperies. For some reason, they just somehow, I didn't find a useful, I don't know how to say it. Well, I don't know how to paint draperies. That's what I should say, right? So that's that. And not that I don't know how to paint it. I can copy them from, you know, something else. And that's where the skill is. So I can copy it, I can recreate it, but I have a hard time to imagine them and then paint them from imagination. I don't have a problem to do with portraits, with hands, with feet, but I have for some reason, I have a problem to do it with fabric and fold, and I think that's what's holding me back. So I pushed myself yesterday. I did little, you know, dress ups, and I thought about some folds, and I observed myself how the fold moves when I move different, you know, through the different directions. So let's get into fold. Yeah. Oh, hi guys. I see the chat is happening. So I'm happy that you guys are here. That I am not talking to myself. Yeah, you guys are looking forward for tomorrow. Bad painting Friday. Well, that's fun. That's fun. Definitely, that's fun. It's gonna be fun. Since you're painting a skull, maybe I will just set up a skull and we just do a fun skull painting. Okay, all right. So let's just grab my charcoal brush. I haven't been using charcoal that much, so I'll probably do some charcoal adjustments here. First. So I'm using very soft wine charcoal sticks. I buy them in bulk because I use them a lot, and I like to use this medium. And the only reason is because when I draw something, I can always, you know, quickly erase that. But remember, and this is because I can use this charcoal method because I have. So there are certain areas, if it's really, really wet paint, you can't really use charcoal, but when it's like, you know, like a touch dry or sticky, that's just the best way to apply. It's really soft, you don't need to press, you don't need to do anything with it. And what I'm thinking right now, when I step back, when I came to studio, I felt like this shoulder, it's kind of too small. And it's not small, it's just the fact that it's protruding forward. I kind of made it skinny, I believe. Plus the hand right here, it's kind of covering that silhouette. So maybe I should just add a little bit more here. Right, to make it a little bit more like a fluffier. And if I make it fluffier, it's gonna. I think it's going to be a little bit more. It's gonna feel heavier, and then it doesn't gonna look like, you know, because it's kind of a colder environment, or a little bit more. You know, they traveled from Istanbul to Great Moravia, right? So that's definitely a shift in the lifestyle and clothes and temperature for sure. All right, I have a today's going to be, I'm reading from the chat for those of you just listening and working. Today's going to be my struggle day. I try to combine still life of skull replica and my imagination. Did some thumbnails, but I kind of realized that translating a pencil sketch thumbnail to painting isn't as easy as I thought. Don't be discouraged with this. because I know exactly how you feel combining something from real life with imagination. It could be challenging because you're trying to combine two different worlds. Trust me, it's just how would I put this so it makes sense to other people, not just in my brain. It's that it's like when you come to a kitchen that you've never been to and you want to cook something. You need to get familiar with the kitchen tools around you. You have to get familiar with, oh, this is how I turn this is how I do this. Oh, he or she or they are keeping the salt right here on the right side. I prefer to have it on the left side. And you are just right now, it's not about that you don't know how to paint, it's about that you are combining flavors that you are not familiar with, or the shapes, or the ideas that you are not used to work with. Just, you know what, give it a try. It's going to be fun, it's going to be awesome. Don't get discouraged. It's really, it's going to hold you back. And if you have an orange and you have a purple, that's okay. Is it because you're trying to go into a complementary colors, or is it just what you felt like to do? Let me just put this here. Because if it's just what you felt like to do, then, you know, it's experiment. Therefore, you can have fun with it and you don't need to be worried at all. Okay, that's great. That's a conscious decision that you felt like orange and purple is going to describe that mood. That's awesome. That's awesome. Then there's no wrong answer to this. That's perfect. That's more than you can ask for. And if it's not working, you can always try, I don't know, purple and yellow, purple and green, purple and blue. And you can play with saturations, right? So you can have a desaturated blue, and you know, you can add I'm thinking that maybe I could make it more this way. And instead of doing this kind of a classical zigzag, maybe I should show the top plane and the side planes. That will be easier for viewer to see that it's going towards us. And then maybe a little bunching right here as the hand is, because it's pressing on it, maybe cover parts of the hand with that fabric. And what if I drop this? And again, you know, I'm just going to take some, if I just push it this way, I don't want to have it on the same. Maybe I could cover this arm a little bit more. Well, that might help. So instead of what I'm thinking to create a little bit more of that, because I have this area again, light on the dark, and this is here the same light on the dark. Maybe if I put a little bit more fabric here and create some folds here, I could connect this way. Well, that might help. That might help, but then I have to be careful with, I don't want this edge compositionally, right? So I am right now composing within the shape, or designing rather. I think that I made this distinction previously, that I am designing certain shapes specifically to help the overall composition. So if someone asks me what's the difference between design and composition, this is how I think about it, because I think there was a previous question, you know, before different stream, that, you know, what's the difference between composing and designing. So I could maybe maybe make it smaller, and I can go over this. That would give me little leeway here, push it this way, and I can actually tug everything inside to this. So that will kind of make a boundary there. But I want to be very careful, because I don't want to do one thing. I don't want to break this position. I don't want to maybe push it that much down. Because I like the position for the elbow, I like the position for this dark shape, and I like the way how it ends here. Maybe I can just force it this way. Okay, well, let's see. That actually might help. Maybe I made it a little too big right now, so I can make it slightly smaller. So it can go here. So it can go here. Not going to that far out, so somewhere around there. Let me see. Okay, that might work. That might be maybe a little too high up. I'm looking at this is the place where the shoulder would be. Maybe I can push this little this way, create a small edge right here. Maybe tuck it behind that. That might also help that little bit more of that. Yeah. Okay, so I have this position, this would go right here, and then I can create these kind of, yeah, or design these. I have a special name for that for when it comes to folding fabric or working with fabric. And maybe support it here with a little bit of darker value, so I have these steps in the background. Yeah, I think this is going to get a little bit more clarity to what's happening there, and it's kind of going to bring it towards us. Let me check that. Let me see the mirror of truth. Yeah. So I did a couple corrections with charcoal, but even though I'm thinking about the shape, I outline that shape, right? That's something that we discussed yesterday, whether or not that charcoal is going to mix with my paint, or the paint is not going to interact very well with the charcoal. That's true. I'm just going to wipe it a little bit. So I still see the suggestions there, but they're not that strong. And I can right now start mixing my pigments. So the glove is on. Not yet. Not yet. Wait for it. All right. So the glove is on, and you know what time is it when the gloves are on. Time to paint. I'm gonna do that, you know, the standard, you know, mixing my darks, and probably I have to squeeze more umber here. Actually, that's sienna, not umber. Burnt sienna, that's what I meant to say. And the reason why I'm mixing umber with burnt umber with blue, it's because they're very close to each other on value, so I don't need to, you know, match their values before mixing them together. And since burnt sienna is very dark orange, as every brown or most of the browns are, it's complementary, so when I mix them together they gave me a kind of a dark tone. But I'm gonna add a little bit more of that green into it, and a little bit more of red. Just to make it even, you know, more complicated for myself. Because why not? And this feels way too dark, so I'm going to introduce also a yellow ochre. I'm trying to stay away from white for a while, just so I can work transparent, and I can see that I might add a little bit more of the redness into it, because I want it to be a little warmer. So these are just the conscious decisions that, you know, that I'm making based on the experience that I have, and this is not because this is the way how you're supposed to do it. This is this is how I like to do it. That's just the only reason. So it would be right here, and it will go here. I can maybe make it even lighter. Let's see. So instead of using white, I'm using yellow ochre to make it lighter, that mixture. And I'm asking myself, when it turns a little bit too orangey, I'll just hit with a little bit more of a blue. But it's dark, so then I'm going to add a little bit more yellow ochre, which is going to turn more towards green, and I'm going to play with this idea. And the reason why I dropped from the dark, completely dark, it's because I want to reserve this dark for the focal point. These folds here are not supposed to be a focal point, so I'm going to make them lighter. Not lighter. I'm going to make the values closer to each other. And again, I'm not completely changing everything. I'm improving the existing part that is there. Now I will have to use pretty close with a kind of a bluish neutral hue, so I'm going to adjust these. Shapes. The shoulder, actually the arm, it's getting wider, and I have to control the width, and I'm comparing it to width of this and to width of this, because these all three of these extremities are on the same front plane. So I don't want to apply that atmospheric, the linear perspective that, you know, something that is away from me, it's smaller. Maybe I'll add a little bit more of that blue into it to make it a little bit more saturated. there's going to be just a slim part. Let me simplify this a little bit. And then I can make do I have a better angle? Let's show that roundness. Let's make a little lighter value here to see what's gonna happen. And then a little lighter value here as well. And then this can go darker, and then let's push it here. That's a little top part. And then maybe I can show the sliver going from here out. So it's like a variations within the folds, so they are not all kind of the same feeling. And then maybe I can push a little here, that light area. And it would catch up like so. That opening might be a little too big, but that's okay because right now I can adjust it. I can make this a little more. It would be here. But then I can make it a little darker. Maybe a little warmer. So I'm right now designing. There's nothing else that's happening here. It's just a design. And this is right now that dark spot that I don't want to have there. So I'm just going to scumble on top of it. So I connected a little bit more with that. Okay. Okay, and let's just push it even more with the light values. And I'm making this might work. Okay. Yeah, this is way better. It's getting a little bit more into that realistic feel, or naturalistic feel rather, than it was before. Let me hit it with a little bit more of this and more of that. And let me, this seems a little too, yeah. I'm softening that cast shadow that was right here. Yeah, way better. It was way too, it was dark, and I know that I over darkened it from the beginning. I knew that that's what I'm doing, and I don't know why I didn't step. And especially when the warmth from his face, it's actually hitting into these shadows, or reflecting into those shadows. I made them very dark, like really saturated. And kind of it felt, since it was saturated, it felt like it's a hole in the canvas rather than the shadow that belongs to. Let's do the same thing right here. So I'll kind of, instead of making clear distinction between shadow and light there, I'll kind of make that, I'll make it a little bit more kind of a tenebrism, that sfumato effect, that really slow turn of the form to the point that it kind of gets all the way to, it kind of blends with the background. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me make these adjustments here. adjust the shadows here a little bit so they fit to this new and then maybe I could do that. Maybe I could just hit it with a little bit more here. Like an inside fold. Let's go here. This could probably be half tones instead of shadows. Yeah, let's make these half tones. So I'm thinking about this as a, you know, I'm thinking about this as a kind of a tube that it's protruding towards me, rather than just looking at that through the. So it's not. I don't want to think about this as a complicated shape like arm would be. So I don't get distracted from, at this stage, from the overall feeling of the roundness. And then when that's sorted, then I could start thinking about, you know, how to push that idea that that's actually arm. So this needs to go darker right here. Cool. And maybe more of that. Okay, cool. That seems a little too dark, so let's introduce a little lighter value there. It's too much. Saturating it a little bit. But then I don't maybe I should cut into here. Yeah, that would be better. So I need to right now. Okay, that's gonna be this. This. Cooler. I need to right now do that, you know, I need to correct outside edge. Okay. More folds right here, and then I have to have a with folds as well. Don't forget that also folds have a front plane, side plane. So So let's see, we can push it even harder here into that kind of a downward here, and it's bunching here, and it's going this way. I'm just trying to create that feeling, what I was talking about, the feeling of roundness. But I don't want it to be overpowering. So it's going here, and then all the way here, on the top, soft edge. And I'm keeping, I'm keeping it very soft and loose. And I have to join it here somehow. Maybe through some so it's going down right here. I want to connect these. So you have feeling that something is happening with that fabric behind the arm. that actually lays in front of it, because that would create more of that depth. And I'm thinking that if my arm is going this direction, the best way to show that something is behind it, I'm going kind of across that arm, perpendicularly, would be probably the word that I'm looking for. And the reason is because I want to show the difference in the directions. But I'm going to have a full, the arm is going to have a full contrast, full value scale, and what's behind, I'm going to, apply the atmospheric perspective, so values are going to be closer to each other, and the edges are going to be smoother. So it's going to work like that background that I talked about when we had that, bed painting Friday with the still life. So I'm going to push it all the way into the arm. Even my paint, I'm going to push into the arm, so there is no clear, visible distinction between between where it starts and where it ends. And I want to keep it a little bit more flat, that garment, or those folds, just so it kind of, it works like it will juxtapose that, the roundness of and there's going to be, as I mentioned, it's going to be bunching right here. So I'm tucking that shirt or that garment into that fabric that it's going over his shoulder, creating another, another illusion of something laying on top of something else, because somehow I need to show that, that effect of depth. And like I mentioned before, I'm trying to use every option that I have. It's going to go up right here. It's going to be here. Nice. It can go. Actually go from here all the way. Could be another one right here, but then I don't want to divide it equally, so it doesn't, it doesn't look boring. I don't want folds be equal, not that, equal in terms of, I don't want to make them evenly spaced. And if they have to be evenly spaced and you don't have other options, try to think of different folds maybe. Right? You have that zigzag fold, you have that, I don't even know. There's a lot of different folds. You can tell that I don't like folds very, very much. But I'm going to power through them. I'm going to paint them. And no one's going to stop me. So that's going to be a little light right here. A little more here. On the top of the form. That looks way too much. Or maybe not. From a distance, not really. Okay, it kind of fits into it. This is gonna go over, so I'm going to hit it with a lighter value right here, connected to this, and it's going here. Okay, cool. That works. That works. I can just hit it here with a slight half tone. I'm creating these folds randomly, and the only thing that I'm really thinking about with these folds is whether or not it's helping a composition or design, making it so it reads better as a unit, or is it breaking the form or creating that, you know, or it feels more flat than round. Okay, so this one's going to be here, and then here. Because with folds, also difficult part is for me to analyze what's considered to be half tone and what would be the shadow, and what's actually a shadow, but since it's fabric, so it's translucent, there's so many things that, you know, can go wrong. Maybe I will bunch it this way, like so. So it kind of recedes into the background. Okay, not bad, not bad. Yeah. Maybe I could go this way. And create tangent right here, so it's draping this way. Maybe I could do this. So this is just really, I'm experimenting right now. The same thing that you do, I experiment. Even though, you know, I should know how to do this, sometimes it's just, sometimes it's challenging for me as well. And you know, so probably the difficult part about this, for me specifically, is the fact that I want to make sure that it's not only a different folds, because I understand that, you know, you can create these generic folds. I'm pretty sure that I would be able to do that, but what concerns me is to create folds that they feel like they're from a different type of material. So I'm making them a little bit more maybe over exaggerating them in some places, not because it's absolutely necessary, but because I want them to stand out, and then I can decide which one I will get rid of and repaint. And then I will leave it. I will work on that part then a little bit, and if I don't like it, I can always scrape it or sand it, and work on top of it, on the top of it again. So there is plenty of options that you can use. So don't worry about don't really even bother with being afraid with experiments. It's all good. It's all good. If I can do it, you can do it. I don't think I like this shape very much. So maybe I should hit it here, a little bit more here, and go up. And that will give me space to do this. Yeah, it's probably better. And then maybe I should hit it with the shadow underneath. So let's do that. So the shadow could be here and here. Yep. Soft edges, ultra soft edges here, because again, I don't want it to stand out. I still want it to be visible, but I want to create these nice slow transitions. And then I can add a little bit of the shadow right here, because that would probably help. Yep, a little bit here. And I'm creating these little pockets of shadow, and I'm thinking about the shadow in terms of this is a round shape, right? So the same thing that I was doing with the face, with the portrait, I have multiple choices how to apply the pigment there, and that will determine soft edge right here. Okay, determine, that will help visually. And then I can make this darker, then lighter, and then darker. Okay. Okay. Then a little sliver right here, just for keep it fairly close on value. Okay, so I have like a little bulge there of fabric, and maybe I can hit it with a little bit of that lighter value there with a little bit more saturation. Okay, I want to kind of, and I want to incorporate those fingers there right now into that fabric. So let's see. How much of that it's actually possible. A little bit here. Okay. It's repeating too much. I'm again, it's just something that, you know, I have to be really mindful about when working on these, that my brain automatically wants to space these equally, and I did that, and the distance from here to here is the same as distance from here to here. This is just crazy. I don't know how I'm doing it. If I really, trust me, if I wanted to do it equally, or space it equally, I wouldn't be able to do it. And I'll show you tomorrow what I'm talking about, and when I will try or attempt to find the midpoint between, you know, between the points, how difficult it's going to be. Yeah, I made it. How am I doing this? I don't know. That's just crazy. Is it just me who always, when I'm trying to randomize something, that I will always end up with a perfect unity? So this is the dark value there. Okay. So I need to hit it harder right there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So again, I need to evaluate what is working and what is not working based on what I see and what I look at. And right now what I realized is that, and I don't know, perhaps you can see it also on the on on the screen, is that I spaced these things so equally that it looks like it was, it's almost like a machine made. Why am I doing this? This is why I hate folds. Yeah. Oh, and what? Why? So funny. So here's what I was talking about. That, you know, I'm showing you how not to do that. So so maybe if I cut it this way, like a darker value right here, and push it around. So this would be a part of that fold. Okay, well, let's do that. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what's going to happen. So I'm going to incorporate this hoodie part into this. So this is going to be dark value. All the way here. All the way here, all the way up. Like so. Yeah. So I will disconnect it and then it will find itself again on that side. Well, that could work. Okay, we're on to something. What I'm trying to do right now, that's very important, break that monotony, not monotony, break that exactness of repetition. I created that it's really funky folds, like I don't want to say it's an amateur fold, but you know, it's something that I should be able to see before I place the brush strokes there. It's something that I should be able to analyze internally. But since I'm so focused on trying to put these folds down as quickly as possible because I'm not enjoying it, I'm making these, it feels almost like I'm switching off my creative process and I'm just into that mechanical, that, you know, I was talking about that previously, the kind of minimalism. So my brain goes, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's same. It's the same direction of a brush. It's the same paint application. It's just, it's boring and it's difficult to look at and it's annoying. So I have to stop that. Because you want to be, you know, I'm thinking about folds, hand, background, negative space, everything is portrait. It's just a different stages of portrait. And right now I'm not thinking about those folds as like I would paint a portrait or hands or feet. I'm thinking about that as something that I have to do because someone told me to do that. So that's something that you can think about while you're working on your own paintings, that, you know, can you identify on your painting things that you enjoy painting and you really don't want to, you didn't want to paint? let's try again. Let's try again. Let's try and navigate through this. And then I'm going to grab a palette knife and I'm going to scrape the excess paint. But I'm not going to start scraping all over the place. I am, I'm working with the palette knife. I'm taking advantage of the direction. I'm taking advantage of I'm carving with that palette knife a paint rather than just simply scraping and wiping. I don't like to wipe in pastel paint or a paint that is laid down thickly. Yeah, I don't know if that's the proper word. Because it kind of gets all over the place. With palette knife, it's clean, and I can, navigate through the certain areas. Better, and I can control that paint better. Okay, so this one is right here. Okay, so you remember the last time I just placed a couple brush strokes on that what is it, cap, on the cap, and I was very satisfied very quickly. That's the exact opposite what's happening today. And I don't know why, because I don't see, like when you look at these things, like this is no difference than this. But somehow it's causing way more difficulties to me. So I could cut it here, push it this way. Okay. And you might be asking what to do in this situation. Well, let's check out what would master do. He would just confidently place the pigment, and that confidence that he uses with his later work, in his later work, it's so convincing. I mean, he convinced me that the mistakes that he made with proportions and paintings are actually that I'm wrong, that I am wrong, that I am seeing it incorrect. It's amazing to go through Rembrandt's work. I wonder what kind of feeling was it to work with him in his studio. How bad you had to feel when Master showed up, Master Rembrandt showed up, and you showed him his paintings. Yeah, you need that book for Christmas. Yeah, go for it. Definitely go for it. But here's the thing. There's a different They always make a new version of it. So I don't know, because I remember they were out of stock, and I had to find existing books in the store, and then go and purchase it there, because they have like new issues every couple years because of better, I don't know, printing, with better colors, better, better, more, how would I put this, a higher resolution of the pictures. So you should Google it, and then you should definitely get always the newest version. It's going to be the most expensive, but it's going to have the best reproduction of that, of these paintings of his. So, and this is, I don't know what edition this is. I don't remember. I'll have to find it, and I'll let you know. I'll find it. It's going to be somewhere in the back, probably in the back of the book. Where is it? This is from 2019. Yeah. And it's Taschen. So it happens because I have Michelangelo, I have Leonardo da Vinci, I have Raphael, and those are like 2000 editions, and you can see the difference in the prints that they have there. It almost like they are almost unusable. But I got them when I was studying in US, because I used to work in the library. So I'm a, how would you call this? I'm a hobbyist librarian. I don't know. I volunteer in the library because it gave me keys from the library, and I could do and study and sit there and read enormous amount of books, and you don't even need to read certain things. You can just go through them. So I was very happy. I was working there for free. I was cataloging books, and it was a small, like a school library, like very art focused. And then I was communicating with other libraries, and we had donations, and it was awesome. I wish I could work there again, because you get a lot of information, and then people come to you, they're asking you for recommendations. You give them a good recommendation. They will bring you books that they don't use anymore for free. Just, oh, here it is. It was a great book. I read it. I don't have a place to put it. Do you want it, or should I just give it to Goodwill? So I actually got enormous amount of books from there. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, that I got Michelangelo and Raphael both for $5. It was crazy. I was like, $5? Let me not have a coffee and cigarettes today, and I'm gonna get both of them. That's exactly what I said to myself, whether you believe me or not. Okay, so I'm changing this, and I'm gonna make it this way, and then it's just going to open into fold right here, perhaps. Right now I'm inventing. What I'm thinking about, I'm designing, and I'm trying to switch my mindset into a yeah, librarian is a great job. It's awesome. It's perfect. It's perfect. And the reason why I could work there, because I was just a volunteer, and it was on campus, right? So they're like, okay, yeah, sure, of course. But having the keys from the library and just go there whenever you need, it was just it was dream come through. While other students were, oh, where am I going to get this information? I always thought to myself, oh, my work is going to end, and then I can go to library and just and read till I want to, because we were really a small a private academy in LA, and it was awesome because I had keys from school, so I could stay during the late hours when everybody every student went home, and only few of us stayed that day. Were really pushing it harder, and it was a great community there, I have to say. I miss that place a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love to be in my own studio, but it was kind of a different vibe, different feel, a lot of creativity, a lot of like really amazing painters, way better than I could ever dream of, and that's. I have to say that my education from any art school was not necessarily. Oh, let me rephrase this. There are great teachers, great masters, but probably most of my work or most of my information and education came from either from a library as a self-studying person, or from another student, and constantly challenging myself to paint better than someone else, and not necessarily better. I was really thinking about I like what he or she did here, and I don't like what is happening in this part of painting, and then I copied that, the parts that I liked, and avoid ones that I disliked. There was a whole process in my head, walking around the studio during the break that I had, and I was looking at paintings of my classmates and fellow artists, and really stealing everything that I could, every good information that was there or bad. I was trying to steal that. Well, that's what's happening. I believe that that's what is happening with art schools these days. That if you don't find, and here's the thing, I'm talking about the good things because I don't want to, because there's no reason to. Well, it's not the reason. There is a lot of bad memories from there. Don't get me wrong, a lot of bad memories. But I don't want to waste my and your time to talking about bad things, because why? I'm not going to change anything about that, right? So, and finding a good art school, it's really difficult, especially when you want to focus yourself on not on conceptual art or modern art, but in terms of classical art. Most of the classical art is it's a traditional Charles Bar French academic education, Italian art style sometimes, and that's why I like to do this as well, to give opportunity, or to to share that knowledge that I accumulated throughout the my years in the art school. And I went to multiple art schools, truth to be told, and I finished 0 of them. Not because I would be lazy or I had bad grades. No, it's just different things are happening in your life, and you can't just you can't always have everything that you want. And sometimes it's the financial reasons, sometimes it's simply you don't feel like you belong there. So many different things. And I traveled all over the world with art schools and painting. I was exhibiting things in China. I actually studied. I'm still part of that very famous, very old, and I think I have to say, I don't want to talk about politics or anything like that. That's not for me to talk about, because I really am not involved of any of that. But I believe the best school for classical art, for classical figurative art, it's the St. Petersburg Imperial Academy. That's just power horse. And this is strictly my opinion, and I've been, I spend most of my best years there, and that's just the power horse of painting. There is no better school for painting than that is classical painting, in my opinion. That was really, really interesting environment. Tough, extremely tough. It's not for a. It's not for a. For a. You will build up a thick skin there, because they will let you know that you don't know how to paint. Let me put it that way. Do you have any website like a personal portfolio? I don't have any personal portfolio, but asylumatelier.com, you can check some of my paintings there. I have them as examples for classes and for private lessons that that are designed to help students, especially those students that cannot travel, or it's difficult for them because they are living in the middle of nowhere. Because I am living in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I'm living I live in a really small city, has maybe 30,000 people live there. It's more like a village for most of the world. But we have these small cities in the Central Europe. So like I said, good art schools and good libraries, and not really. You have a history. I'm looking from a window and I see a lot of beautiful historic buildings. I can throw a rock any direction and I will probably hit a castle. But when it comes to art schools, Europe, for classical art, I don't know, maybe Italy. Those are all private schools. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because I felt need to share with people that cannot, or not, they don't. I think that we can finally start using internet for good, instead of just for hate. So, and I found out that, you know, a Twitch could be, and YouTube could be a good way to help. And trust me, this is not this is helping me as well, because I'm kind of putting words to my thoughts, which is challenging, and it's keeping me, you know, alert. So I'm enjoying this in a sense. Yeah, we are all doing, I believe, a great work, and this is what I like. I don't really, like I said at the beginning, there was a disclaimer that this is not. I'm not an entertainer. I'm a painter. I love to paint. I don't think about myself like that I'm an artist necessarily, because that's a little. That might be a difficult topic to talk about, but. I don't know. There is one thing about art that the only how do I put this? If everything, if we can assign a value to everything around us by using money. Then, you know, I don't even know if I can actually describe painting in terms of how expensive they are, and if that's a good tool to use, or good measurement to use. So I prefer time rather than just money, and unfortunately, you know, I won't ever know whether or not my paintings are really good, because I'll be long gone before I could apply a same measurement than the Rembrandt, right? Because he knew that his paintings are good, but I don't think that he ever thought that his paintings are going to be so revolutionary. I don't think that he was aware of that. Maybe at the end of his life, when he felt like he accomplished everything and there is no reason for him to, you know, cater to anyone, cater to his patrons. Well, I'm really glad that you're enjoying it, the stream. I'm really, really glad that you're enjoying it. And I wish to continue with this. I have my non-profit organization right now that I started with. Actually, the painting in the background, the night that I was working on, it's for that non-profit. And I want to start working and creating these little lectures about art history and about, you know, different techniques and ideas behind these techniques, and you know, just educate people. And because I really, it's even in the statement that I really believe that education, it's going to solve a lot of problems that we have. And I'm not talking about the global issues. I'm talking about, you know, the day-to-day problems that we all deal with. push it here, and then push it here. So I'm starting to, I stopped myself from painting folds, and I started to think about this as, okay, right now I want to focus a little bit more on designing, like it's a portrait, is as important as a portrait for me, and I need to. But here's the thing: I needed to start creating these folds, realizing that they are repeating itself, and then start making these adjustments. But the important part is that I caught myself doing it. And it's because I trained myself with mirrors and looking and searching through hundreds and hundreds of paintings and pictures and compositions and so on and so forth, to start to fine-tune the eye and see and recognize this. That's why I said that most of the painting is about seeing rather than just painting itself. And I talk to my colleagues and students as well. It's not about how good you can draw, it's about how good you can see. Because there's so many things in life that you are not able to replicate. Not even that you're not able to replicate, you are not even aware that they exist because you're not paying attention to these things. Painting made me see world from completely different angle. I didn't even know that certain things exist before I started to paint. I felt like I was lost, and then suddenly I could see things that I didn't know that exist. The value of realizing that summer day has completely different colors, or summer shine. How would I put this? The sunlight in summer has completely different feel than sunlight in winter. I didn't even, and then I remember I came back home from United States, and I was with my parents and with my mom, and we went for a walk, and it was so well, because LA, it's like a yellow ochre with all the shades that you can possibly imagine, and all everything is like LA is such a cool city in terms of weather. It's always a good weather. I've been there for how long? 6-7 years on and on, maybe even more. And it was, I saw rain once. It was always 25 Celsius or around 25 Celsius. There is a month in October, probably right now even. These are hot, like these spikes in temperature, but then it was a cool temperature. But what I'm trying to say is that everything is yellow ochre there. And I came back home, and there is a lot of greens and forests and hills, and it was, I can't even start explaining how impactful that was. So painting. Learning every day. Okay, I push it this way, and then what am I going to do here? Because I want to start connecting it together. I'm creating a lot of interest there. I'm trying to figure it out, all these folds, and they might change because, like you said, I go through hundreds of pictures, hundreds of Pinterest. I don't know. I should sometime, maybe I should link you my Pinterest as well to see how many boards do I have, with different pictures, different paintings, different examples. It's probably one of my best digital helpers. It would be Pinterest. I must say. Pinterest, Google Scholar, and Google Art Projects are probably top three things that I use. Because I'm extremely disorganized, and Pinterest helped me to organize things into at least into some resemblance of folders. What if I do, because what if I just move it a little higher up this way? That might be cool. And then it would create that overlaps this way. Let's do that. Let's try that. Let's see what's going to happen. So I'll just push it this way, higher up. So it's not, even if it's even if I space it very close or very similarly, at least I can change certain things there. A little more blue, a little bit darker value. And I'm sorry, I was talking too much. I'm not painting. So I'm gonna shut up. And that will help me to frame the face a little bit, so it's not framed the same way from both sides. And then it nicely kind of, and what I'm thinking, especially with this, is that how it's wrapping around behind and where it's getting out, it's going to be probably somewhere around here, and then it drops down. And I want to create that, I don't want it to be, and it was, and that's what was bothering me. Okay, now I see it. It was on the same plane behind him. So it kind of, it was flattening that image in terms of, how would I put this? Well, I was putting it on one line horizontally, so you kind of, your eye kind of skip from point A to point B as a straight line, and I don't want it. I want you to go from here around the silhouette and then go back. Check out the Rembrandt about these things, because he is a master in that. I mean, really, 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 when you think about Rembrandt and do a very simple exercise with any portrait or any painting, but portrait is ideal because he really, you can really see it there. If you take his portrait and divide it into halves, the left side and the right side, right? They are different all the time. So if on one side he has a straight line, on the other side he has a curved line. If on one side he has a straight line, on another side he has a straight line, one side is going to be hard edge and another side is going to be soft edge. There is never the same thing on the both sides. When you go and examine his painting through and through, you will really understand that if something is curved, the opposite way is going to be straight. If one edge is soft, another one is going to be hard. If one edge is hard, another one can, if one edge is soft, another can be lost. And he's doing is not only when you divide it vertically from left to right, but also horizontally from top to bottom. It's amazing to look at his paintings. And a lot of ideas from a composition I actually learned not in the school, but from another painters and observing another paintings. So do this little exercise with your compositions right now if you want to, or not even the composition, I'm talking about the objects that you paint or design into composition. For instance, for the portrait, I divided on the half, but this is a really bad example because it's a very frontal view, so rather this 3/4. If I would divide it in the half, I have a one straight line, and on the opposite side is a curved line. I have a hard edge, and then I have a soft edge. I have a lost edge, and I'm trying to vary these things throughout the whole painting. You have cool, warm, neutral, cool, warm, neutral, and then you can change value. You can change saturation. So to create a little bit more interesting, interesting transitions. Because if I have this edge right here of that hoodie part, and it's on the other side in the same line, your eye is just going to skip it. It's not even going to pay attention to this. The more complication you create for a brain, the longer is that person that is looking at that painting forced to observe these adjustments, because I naturally going to follow the line. You remember that, I don't know if you guys saw Inception, they were talking about the difference between regular maze and then the circular maze. For some reason, our brain is really good with straight lines and angles. Not for some reason, they know it's because it goes from point A to point B, and it doesn't, your brain really doesn't care, and mine as well, any brain for that matter. A brain doesn't really need that information in between. It's just, it's in the blink of the eye, it skips that straight line. The moment that you give brain a curved line, it needs to follow the path because cannot calculate where is the end of that line. Same goes for painting and same goes for composition. So think about it. This might be, it might sound strange. You might not even be realizing this, but painting and art in general, it's closely connected with technological advances. And not only that, in Renaissance, when you think about it, during the age of Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Raphael, and Donatello, very famous Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as we know them today, they were inventing things in order to get what they want. Michelangelo created special scaffolding, created a special way of thinking about fresco. It was crazy how many invention, not even talking about Da Vinci, how many invention he actually put and draw on the paper. So I'm really, that's why I mentioned that I really like to read, and I like to go into Google Scholar, because the information about how our brain perceives certain things are helping me to understand what I need to avoid or what I need to add into my painting to get the better results. It's not, art is not a separate entity. For some reason we think about it these days, but it isn't. It isn't. It's really part of that. I feel like it's a bridge between philosophy and science, right? So I'm taking some abstract idea, and I'm giving it to, I'm bringing it to a material world. I don't know if this makes sense. Maybe it makes sense only in my brain. So feel free to disagree with me. I'm not going to be, that's just, these are my observations. Not only feel free to disagree with me, don't, what's the saying? Don't take, well, question everything that I'm saying, right? No, it's not the proper description. What I'm trying to say is you shouldn't blindly trust me in terms what I'm in things what I'm saying. You should, because it happens to I'm wrong most of the day. I'm wrong with the painting. I'm wrong all the time, as I mentioned. So it's a really high chance that let me make a little break that continuous line with a little bit of texture, and let's see what Rembrandt is doing with these folds. Everything, he's doing everything. I remember I was surprised when I saw Rembrandt for first time, long time ago. I didn't like it. I have to admit that I didn't like it. I was like, nah, Rembrandt. Why is everybody talking about the Rembrandt? It's kind of, nah. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? Okay, great. I'm happy that I'm not alone. But you know, this is asylum, so you know, this is just because I want it to be experimentational in these thoughts and in these ideas, and I want to test them. I want to see if they work, or I just want to explore. And my tools, I'm not a scientist, so I don't have a microscope. My tools are brushes, right? So that's how I think about it. And if you came to the same conclusion, that you know, that actually that makes me feel really good in terms of that, you know, that there is a logic into this madness. Okay, slowly I'm kind of emerging to another side, right? Because I have kind of a good idea what I want to have here. I laid it down. It looks way better than it was before. Let me do a mirror check. Yeah, better. So at least I got rid of that how would I put this? Because those folds look like, you know how it looked like? I'm pretty sure that you went to you see, office of accountant, right? So they have these file cabinet there, and the files are just, you know, divided exactly as they, you know, like a machine like. So that's how my fold look like. So it's that kind of a, it's kind of that mentality that, you know, that you see it, and your brain naturally wants to simplify everything and categorize it. And actually I'm going to talk for myself. I was kind of, this is the reason why I hated to be in the high school, because I was forced to categorize everything into a perfect segments, you know. So and I couldn't, because it just, I don't know, I couldn't. So so that's kind of you know, it's kind of right now, since it was really forced into my brain by the system of education, I kind of it's still there, and it haunts me in my painting endeavors. So I could give him as well that little something around his waist, because, and the reason why I want to put something around his waist, I'm talking about the main figure right now, that the one that holding staff, is because this line, when you look at it, and Rembrandt would immediately probably you know, his heart would stop if he would see this continuous line that makes no sense whatsoever next to a same continuous line that is being replicated in this continuous line with the edge of the canvas. He would probably kick me out of the studio, because check this out. The distance from here to here is the same, almost the same, well, is the same than from here to here. So I created that cabinet filing right here in the middle of a composition that I'm talking about, how important it is to compose things. I don't know, man. It's crazy. Yeah, my brain is really, really not braining today, probably. Or naturally wants to get into that comfortable stage of numbingness that you don't need to force yourself to think. And you know, if everything around you these days it's minimalism, then you get used to it and you accept it as the form of a form of art. And I'm not saying that it isn't. Of course, it is. There's no way that, you know, I would ever claim such a thing. But it's I don't know. It's just that too much of a simplification and easiness on our brain is just making it, you know, more comfortable in that stage of not doing anything, or nothingness, or I don't know how to put it. So I created more complicated folds here. So according to you know, to my observations in Rembrandt paintings, he doesn't do that. So he makes one side complicated, another side a little bit more relaxed. So you have that, you know, areas with a lot of information, and they're beautifully juxtaposed or contrasted with areas with less information. So let's make that less active, but still let's resolve certain compositional or design elements there. And then I really want to push this over there. Am I going to do it? Of course I'm going to do it. Why wouldn't I? But then I'm afraid that this hand is going to be like ginormous. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let me see. Let me see. So this would be probably the... Oh no, we're good, we're good. We are good. We're good. So let's do that. Let's push it. Let's make this covered. I'm doing it. There's no way out from this. And then that would help me to break this a little bit. But again, I have to be careful because I almost put it on the same. So what if it goes here as a maximum? And then maybe I could have pushed it this way a little bit more. So I want to make a difference between, because I like that idea of having this light spot right here to show that his hands are, you know, darker because he's using his hands. Those are his tools, main tools, because he writes. And I'm not necessarily mean that he's, you know, working on the field because he's a monk, but he probably had to work on the field anyway, as monks do, often do. So I wanted to show that part that I have all the time, because my forearms are dark during the summer, but my body is still white underneath the clothes. So I wanted to show the transition of not burnt skin, but tan skin, because they are exposed by the sun. It's a journey. I don't think that they travel by car. Well, I'm sure that they didn't. And I don't think that they have horses and carriages or anything like that, because that just the road was not there. So they were traversing, I think that's the word, mountains and hills and forests and so on and so forth. So that's that wear and tear idea. I want to show the arduousness or difficulty of that journey. And it's probably I'm projecting, because my journey to get here was difficult as well. So yeah, probably, most likely. That's what's might be happening. But what I wanted to say is that in order to create more interesting, more variety, I can't have one sleeve all the way up and another one in the same position, because they kind of create that boring repetition. So I want to harmonize it, that they are both holding stuff. They're both arms, but one is covered and one's going to be uncovered. So let's do that. I'm still going to keep the light value right here, because that, you know, that will indicate that that's the form. To create that form, I'm just going to cover him with fabric. So it's going to be that I'm going to create the feeling here of that. You might be familiar with this term. Sculptors are using it very almost all the time. It's that wet fabric on the body. It was very popular during the was it classical era? I don't remember right now. Definitely in ancient Greece, they used that. You know, they showed the body and then very thin wale of fabric with a little bit of folds, just to improve, enhance, accentuate would be another word, I believe. They were trying to make bodies look a little bit more flowy, and that wet fabric was very useful tool to do that. So I'm going to do that to show that there is a foreshortening, and there is also muscle there, and there is a underlying structure, underlying anatomy. You're right in terms of, you know, you have to dumb it down that the masses understand that. But I think that that's our fault as well, or actually I think that's our fault as a people that create paintings, that we allow to do this, because that's instead of people coming to see paintings and elevate their knowledge higher up, we decided to go down. That's counterintuitive. I think it's just, it happens to be easier for us to do that, and then, you know, then just I think that's a really slippery slope to be on that and think that way. And I trust people that they want to learn. They just, you know, they just want to relax. Imagine that You go to work, you work in the office, or you work, I used to work as a server, bartender rather, and I'm dealing with people that are hating on me the whole day because I don't know, screwed up their perfect cafe latte. And, and I'm not saying, I'm not making fun of people that drink cafe latte. It's just maybe maybe if you're used to drink a different type of drink, and then you come to a different restaurant or different bar or coffee shop, they approach it differently or use different ingredients. And I remember how difficult it was for me after a full day of complaints and a work, come home and open a book with Dostoevsky. I don't think so, because it's just you came home, you're tired, and you want to turn off your brain or just numb it because of that so many impulses from outside. And we started to cater to these ideas in terms of, oh, if I'll make this kind of painting, who is going to look at this? Who is going to actually appreciate the hours and thought that was put into this? If I'm used to just see, I don't know, 4x4 picture on my cell phone that I just go through like this. I don't know, I can't even imagine that you put half a year of your life into painting, and then you post it on internet, and then someone just swipe through that. It's just, I understand that then you don't want to do these complicated paintings. You have no reason to do that. And then, and then if you go outside right now, you can do this test yourself and ask a person a difference between what Rembrandt painted and someone, some freshman from the art school. I don't think that the majority would be able to tell you the difference. So, from the point of view of managing your time and resources, why should I spend 95% more time on something that will improve painting in terms of that is visible for casual viewer for 5%? This just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way in the economy. So I don't blame people to not wanting to go to museum, to not wanting to go to gallery. I don't blame them. I didn't want to do it. But whenever whenever things go wrong, then there's art that helps, and it helped me, and I know that it helped countless of other people. You don't understand how much you need art unless you really need it. Like with everything, So I moved from a left shoulder to a right shoulder, or if you're watching it, it's exactly the other way around for you. And let me get a little bit more tea. And right now, this is the time for me when I will really, have to. Little accident right there. Okay, good, we're good. I will really have to start thinking about that division that I talked about in conversation about Rembrandt. That I'm looking left and right, and I'm controlling every position, every fold, and every movement, and the sun just grace us with its presence. the sun is here. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at this ragged and jiggly, the undefined edge against that's happening the same thing here. So I'm probably going to just simply simplify that. Because and reason why I decided to simplify this part is that this is going away from us into a depth of that imaginary world that it's behind him, and this is a little bit more towards the center of the attention. So I want you to spend the most of your time here, right? So you remember, I'm using values, I'm using saturations, I'm using contrast, I'm using details in the area of where I want you to look. And I'll push it here, and then I can maybe even change it and make it a little smaller. So I'm another thing is I'm trying to adjust the size of this arm, because you might remember I talked about this previously, that it felt like it's too long, and it is. How do I know that? Because I said that I felt that it's too long, and if I'm honest to myself, I can't just ignore that. Created a little edge right here, and I think that might be kind of okay if I place it right there. I hope it is. Let me see. Yep. It's starting to look a little bit more how I want it, rather than just just a generalized shape of that. And then a little cast shadow right here. Just a touch. To make it three-dimensional. Yep. Little piece right there, and then I can place this into a shadow as it is right now, and create. Actually, because if I'll just drop it down there as a part of a fabric, it's again going to create one shape, and this is going to be again repeating itself. So let's make a little bit, like a couple folds right here, so it's going this way. And I'm always thinking about how if I want to be three-dimensional, how does the fabric wrap around it, going behind, it's hitting, and where it's emerging. So probably somewhere here. And this is kind of a very simple concept, but you need to use, I need to use a lot of brain power to get there. And again, I'm softening that edge because why? I don't want to have a hard edge. First of all, it's in the shadow, and second of all, it's not the part of the focal point. And then check this out. Immediately, I have this direction of that the cloth that goes over the shoulder that I need because I need diagonal there for the movement, for a little bit more active composition. It's going this direction, and I repeat it here. Why? Well, multiple things. Sometimes I do this not consciously because I'm repeating the same. This is the natural movement of my arm when it, when it goes. So I'm trying to fight against my muscle memory as well. So sometimes, give yourself a credit. You see it, you're thinking about it, but your muscles are just doing whatever they want. So I'm aware of that. I need to make a conscious decision to change that. And I have multiple ways to change it, or multiple options to change it. So I'm going to choose some, and then if I don't like them, I can always repaint it. And then I see that sometimes we can create, oh, this is going to be cool. Isn't this too low, though? Isn't this too low? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Let me see. WWRD. What would Rembrandt do? Rembrandt would probably master brush stroke this with just a series of quick folds, quick hand movements with a unprecedented accuracy. Let's make a little loop there, just to, just to introduce some different, and then I can, maybe I can actually leave it like so, as a part of this, and show, see, happy accidents are happening. Let's see. Happy accidents are happening. Remember, I talked about happy accidents. Happy accident is not bad brushstroke next to bad brushstrokes. It's a okay brushstroke next to okay brushstroke. So, if you think that you can just come to a painting and start, randomly add stuff to your painting, I don't think that that's going to happen. And maybe it will. I don't know. I don't want to discourage you from doing it. It's just never happened to me. I'm trying to design certain things in my head, or picture, or imagine them in my head. I'm not sure if they're going to work or not. Let's see. Softer transition there. Okay, so a little darker value right here, and then connect it right, so right here. This is where the fold is going to be. I was so happy when I was painting. I remember when I was painting these hands, these arms actually, I was still in my old studio, and I was so satisfied. And right now I'm just covering them with paint. But the composition is asking for it, so it needs to be done, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know. There's too much, and I see right now when the sun. I need to soften this. I'm sorry. I know I'm not supposed to work on the portrait, but I saw something that needed to be adjusted, and because it was breaking that kind of a feeling of. I want those eyes be a little droop, not droopy, a little bit more. I don't want them to be that sharp because already a lot of contrast is there. Okay, so it's going to go this way. I can leave this space right here. This can go here. Okay, let's see. Creativity kicked in. Finally. So let's test that theory. I need to put here, into a darker value, into a soft edge. Into darker value, into soft edge. Okay. And like a little probably needs to scumble or dry brush all this thing, and I should do it right now. Oh, okay, well, it's gonna be grand finale of today painting. So. And a little sliver right here of light, and then maybe a little bit of here. This is shadow, this is shadow, and this is shadow. And I can open this part right here. Yeah, this is going to be way better. And then I can make an opening right here, and I will connect this with, well, now we're cooking with gas. So I'm going with a really high saturation right now. And it's only, and the reason is because I feel that I need, not the feel that I need, I am, glazing, so I'm pushing that saturation a little bit more, only because the moment that it kind of the moment it starts drying out, it will kind of create that the underpaint or layer that it's underneath, it's going to seep through, so it's going to give us a little better feel there. And it's kind of going to it's going to push him forward. But you know, be mindful with these, with this idea of glazing, because if you have something that is painted underneath and that's wrong, no matter what kind of glaze you're going to put in, they're not going to save it. So I'm, you know, punching that saturation a little bit. And that's something that we talked about yesterday, that it looked like it's in a overcast day. And I was, you know, waiting for the moment when I felt a little bit more comfortable. And then I realized, also due to our conversation, that there is already time that I can start using this. I'm going to adjust it a little bit, just to do that variation that I was talking about, to do a little bit more, a little warmer, a little cooler. And since I already know what's underneath that, I'm a little bit more, I don't want to say careless, but a little bit more expressive in my brush strokes, because they might seem that they are, you know, random, but I am fully aware of what's underneath that. And you can see immediately how that figure kind of emerged from that background, or actually how that separation between light and dark, and I pushed it also with warm and cool. So I know that the main idea is to have things that are warmer closer to us, and things that are cooler further away from us. Yes, that's absolutely true. But these three figures, I'm thinking about them as a kind of a collective shape, and I am creating that warm and cool, warm and cool, warm and cool, warm and cool transition. So I don't really think of this as a big of a deal, because not only that I know that this figures visually, it's front of this one, that's helping that, how would you call this, that illusion. It's not only one part of that, it's also the amount of detail that I'm putting there. So you have a more contrast in this area, you have a light against dark. This is just the one continuous shape that I am unifying right now with, because it was disconnected within itself, the shape, the garment that he was wearing. I'm unifying it right now. Your brain is not going to read or look at that as on a such a complicated shape. It's going to accept that as a add a little bit of this redness into the hand. So I create that distinction between dark and light. And I can maybe connect it a little bit here. And then a little bit of a blue there as well. Cool, 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 cool. This might work. It's actually starting to look way better. It's still not where I want it to be, but slowly I'm getting. And right now, immediately as I put the light value there, the light blue value on that sleeve, you can see that this arm, or wrist rather, it's way too dark. I have to punch, and I have two options. I can start making it lighter, but that wouldn't work properly. I'm just going to saturate this area, and I'm going to push it this way, and I'm going to keep you here in this area right here. It's actually very important that we decided to work on those folds, or we decided to work on the fact that I need to work on the stuff that I'm afraid of. Is the other painting the first concept you created? What do you mean? Which other painting? The one that it's right here, this one? Or are you talking about the one that it's right here? Because I'm not sure right now. Could you be more specific? So I don't, because I'm not sure. What are you? What are you asking, or which painting are you referring to? The burnt umber one. Okay, so a burnt umber would be probably this one. This one right here. That's what you mean? I was pointing on on that because I'm not sure. Ah, the charcoal one. You mean this one? I'm pretty sure that you mean this one, the charcoal one. Well, here's the thing. This is a fragment from this one. It's right here. So I just, I took a little piece from it because this is going to be a larger, that's just a sketch for a larger painting, and I wanted to figure it out. The main figure, the main figure is the focal point, right? I also have a different, because this one right here in the background, since we're talking about it, it's another different sketch with a different position, with a different kind of a feel of that journey, which is also unfinished. I have more sketches in the corner of the studio. I don't think you can see it, because that was part of the well, you won't be able to see it right now. Okay, I'll put it here. It can live for a while here since you asked. All right. So there was there are another sketches there, different versions and variations of the same topic. And then the idea is that I start somewhere like here with the black and white, then I do a color sketch. But these are done in Photoshop because I sketched a little bit, then I take it to a software, and then I adjust it in the software, digital software, and then again I can either print it, because I like to do that. I print it out, and then you can take your gouache or your aquarelle or watercolors or acrylic paint, and touch up things, and then scan it again and work with the Photoshop a little bit. I like that mixed media kind of a feel to it. When I'm satisfied with the small sketch, I'll go to a larger sketch, which would be this one, where I'm trying to already figure out the position for the heads and maybe movements and so on and so forth. And then I am separating things. Then I start to asking myself questions like what the problems with this composition I'm going to have because of previous experience. And then I will continue and start defining things more and more. Whoops. Defining things more and more. And let's say this is one figure from or one portrait that I'm working on simultaneously behind the scenes from that I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, that's just the part with the charcoal where again, this is already concrete part or you know, a figure or portrait and the position for the hands where I want to put them and how they're going to, how he is going to hold a certain objects. He's part of that group. It's a different, it's not from this sketch, it's from a different sketch. It's actually in the back because I have 3 or 5 different versions of this. Of this topic, and they're all kind of different sizes. So one, it's this right now. This one is vertical. That one it's more landscaped, horizontal, right? And I'll create all these sketches, and then I have 2 options. I can just either take the fixative or hairspray and do, you know, start painting on top of it with oil paint, or I can just transfer to another canvas and start, because this is already, actually this is drawn on the canvas. But sometimes when I look at sometimes when I work with something and I want to see the progress and I want to be able to refer back to where it was, I like to keep it and work on another one. So you have like 2 portraits. One is black and white or monochromatic, or and one is one is the full color. You can do monochromatic. You don't need to work necessarily with charcoal if you don't feel comfortable. I started to do this recently because before I was making monochromatic painting sketches. You're going to be see like this. I don't know if you can see this one. This is probably going to be. What is it? No, this way. Right. This is actually that mixture that I'm using. That kind of a neutral gray. So you work with the neutral gray then. So you have multiple options. The one thing that you have to remember, or to remember, is that the reason why, or I don't know, Michelangelo or Da Vinci or Rembrandt for that matter, the reason why they use charcoal and charcoal drawings is because it's cheaper. But today, if you are, you know, for the concepts, if you have enough resources, you can do sketches directly with the paint. I use Photoshop only because it's easier for me, not easier, it's quicker to make adjustments. So that's the reason why I use digital media. It's just it's quicker. It's just it goes. Instead of me remixing the colors, remixing everything, and then painting a whole new scene, I can just go into Photoshop and do a couple layers, adjustment layers with the colors, and that's it. And I can immediately see it. Not 100%, not exactly, but I have a good idea about. I have a good idea how it will be when I decided to paint that way. So it's, you know, it's not how would I put this? I'm not saying that you have to do it this way. I like to go to this. I like to take that time to develop certain things and certain ideas. Only because I know that it happened to me, it's my own experience. I was getting closer to finish, and then I realized that the painting is stale, the painting has really no meaning because I didn't do enough research in terms of how I want you to look at that painting. I wasn't even sure if I like to paint the subject that I'm painting. And that's probably the biggest killer of composition, that, you know, and I know this because I had multiple arguments and I don't want to say violent arguments because they were not violent, but really heated discussions. Let me put it this way. I had plenty of heated discussions in the academy with fellow artists, with fellow students about you are painting something that you don't like. Why are you doing this to yourself? And you are telling me that you need help with the composition. You don't need to help with the composition. You need to help with honesty towards yourself. So I'm putting, I should have probably taken a bigger brush, but never mind. Now we're cooking with gas. So you can see immediately I switched to like you might think that, oh, why didn't I paint with this like really saturated pigment from the beginning? Well, because I wouldn't be able to describe all these little underpainting intricacies that kind of helping to make it a little bit more interesting. And then I'm going to, you know, use these John Singer Sargent, brush strokes to let you feel that, you know, to make a feeling that this was all pre-planned. No, this was all done by during the one session. So I came in the morning. I was, you know, partying the whole half a year, and then one morning after, you know, a headache and and feeling feeling unhappy with my decisions, I came to studio and I played some brush strokes and look, guys, this is what I do. This is how awesome I am. Where the truth is that I labored every day for a couple months to get here, to just place that really vibrant, saturated pigment there. What is the scene, the journey called? This is actually a true story about Kirill or Cyril and Methodius. Those are two monks that came to Great Moravia, which was a kingdom where Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary is located right now. And they brought the language. The story behind this is that the ruler of Great Moravia at the time asked, because it was 863, they were pagans here, and they were not comfortable with Christian religion because it was in Latin and they didn't understand. So the ruler asked a pope from Rome, he asked for scholars to come and teach and create a language that is close to people living in that region, because they need to learn, they need to study, they believe in God, but they don't understand what church is, what priests in church are talking about. Pope did not respond, and ruler decided that he's going to call what was that? Nicola Constant. I don't remember the name of the ruler from Constantinople. I'm pretty sure he was third, but I don't know. Third. I'm blanking it right now, but I'll get to you with that. So from Istanbul, they called. I wanted to say that they called. they sent the same request to a ruler of that Byzantine Empire, and they asked him for help, and he said yes, of course. And the reason is, and that's actually kind of a beginning of that split between Orthodox or Rome Catholic and Greek Catholic church that we call Orthodox right now, because they were fighting for the influence. There was a ruler was in Constantinople, and the Pope, the second, or equally important figure at that time, was in Italy, and they were fighting for the influence, as they always do, because what else they're going to do? It's Europe, We need to fight because we have a small countries, and they all have their own culture, all everything. So he said yes because he wanted to help, and he wanted to influence that region, and they came and they brought the language, and that's something that was the beginning of Slavic-based language, and they traveled from Constantinople to a central part of the Europe where Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Hungary are right now. And they created language for us, and then they went and they asked Pope to codify that language, or not necessarily codify. They asked him, and they got approved to use this language as a language of church, officially recognized language by the church. That means that priests could actually use that language in the church as a part of liturgic language. Liturgy. I don't know this word. These are really specific technical terms, so I apologize for that. Basically, before that, it was only Greek, Latin, and Hebrew, I believe. And there was no other possibility. They did not consider that, the thought that it would change or they would add any language. And it was so convincing, and it was a fight for influence. And then some of the Catholic, they called them charlatans because they had no proof that the Bible that they translated from Hebrew or from Latin to first Slavic language, they were not sure if the text is correct because there was no one to control it. So it was a mess. It was a mess. It was actually, they say that it was really the beginning of the split between these two churches. It was a fight for influence. So that's a brief history, but you should definitely check it out for yourself, because right now most of the Slavic languages use similar principles in their grammar and in their language. So this is the origin, and the reason is that they wanted to make sure that people in that territory, which was only peasants and pagans, I don't want to say that they were stupid, but they did not have their own books. They did not, they couldn't study. They couldn't, share the information and pass it to someone else. So it was very important. It was extremely important for the ruler of that area that people in his country are going to be educated. And he found out that, okay, so if I can educate them through the church, I'm going to take advantage of church. And he did. So there is a couple another problems, and there is a whole, there are people that are studying at universities only this age and this era because there's so many things that happen there. I was talking so much that my Yeah, you're right. It's a Cyril and the Methodius, very famous monks. I think that they're considered saints right now. But you know, all the languages, Czech language, Slovakian language, Polish language, Baltics, these are all languages there, you know. They're very similar because of, you know, that rule book that they came and created. It was not, it was it wasn't really profound or really, you know, crazy, something like new that no one ever seen. It was more like they were collecting information as they went from Constantinople all the way up to north into these tribes, you know, because it's hard to say where was the boundary between us and Vikings, you know, because we were the kind of a buffer zone for Holy Roman Empire. But you know, unless you really live in this region, you don't really have a reason to know about them, because they're more like a local superstar than, you know, worldwide. But right now, you know, you're here, so, and if you're interested, you can definitely check them out. It's actually a pretty cool story. I don't know how much of that is true though. Because, like I said, we didn't have books, we didn't have a language, there was nothing like that in that region. Well, actually, we had language, but it was not written form. It was just, you know, handed from one person to another, and you know how that works. So there is a very little known about them. And then, you know, since that region, especially the region where I'm from, Slovakia, it was very rural and very like a agricultural heavy and focused, and we didn't have that. We were always part of some other country. So we don't even have like a cool Slovakian history paintings that we could be, you know, like I don't know, like in the US or in Russia or in Italy or in France, because there were no money, there were no castles. But actually there were castles, but they were more like fortresses rather than castles, more for military, because this was always the area of that buffer zone, and it still is. Actually, it's funny that it still is, you know, considering what's happening around us right now. So and I actually chose this because this is my diploma painting, so I'm trying to finish. I'm trying to finish my my education. I'm trying to get my diploma. But unfortunately, during my studies in St. Petersburg, first we got hit with COVID, and then we got hit with war. So I had to go back home, because it was, I don't want to say that it wasn't safe, but it's impossible for me to be there right now, unfortunately. So I'm looking for some more adjustments, but I don't know. I probably have to again drape myself again and start thinking about what to do on the other side, because again I placed this corner and this corner on the one kind of a so I don't know what to do here, and I don't want to go closer. Maybe I'll just connect it this way, and that might actually help. But I don't want to again have a same kind of a same sleeve as here on the other side, because look, right now they're kind of going this way, they look very similar to each other in terms of shape when you look at them, when you're comparing it from left to right, that the fact that I was talking about, that what creates that boring idea is that your eye can go like so right here, because this is exactly the same as this under the same angle, almost to the point that I will have to probably figure something out on how to change it. So let me think. Maybe if I push it a little bit more. But you know what? It doesn't really bother me from the reflection right now as much as I thought it would, because it's kind of a natural position for the hands. And since the both figures are doing different thing, it doesn't really bother me that much. If anything, right now I feel that it's unifying them a little bit more. Oh, perfectly good. Give me a second. I'll be right back. I want to get more water for my tea. I was thinking that I should probably I'm looking at this right now, and yeah, there's no other way. There's no other way than again redesign that outside arm for me. So that's probably going to be the name of the game. Not for tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be Bad Painting Friday, on which we're really going to create some complications for ourselves. Yeah, it needs to be redesigned a little bit. The position doesn't bother me that much. What bothers me is really that that I want to create same. I'm going to repeat myself what I talked about with Rembrandt. That left side does not match the right side exactly 1 to 1. That there is a differences. Either it is a. Just a second. I just need to adjust this. So as I was saying that with that Rembrandt idea or the composition in general, that I have a little bit more interest on one side and a little simpler shapes on the other side. But then I want you to still flow through here and then be in this area. I just don't want it to be like waves, you know, again, like a perfect sinusoid or frequency, that everything flows the same way, because I have a feeling that I'm kind of framing them right now with this, and then also with the arms, like so. That's why on my sketch, I have this guy with hands here holding that a book, or a Bible rather. And then I realized that I have him, and him with kind of the same halfway through the torso, arms folded, and they kind of create the repetition that I found really boring. And not only it created, repetition that it's boring, it kind of framing them right here, and everything what is below looks empty and unnecessary. So when you think about the composition, I could have cut it right here and it would be enough information. Why do I need a feed, right? So I have to bring that feeling. I have that strong diagonal right here, right there, with the cloth. I need to push it this way nicely, so it curves this way, like a C curve, because there is actual C curve right here happening in the positive shape against negative shape. But that's not enough. I still want you to go into that. You know, I don't like to use the term golden ratio because I did not measure it exactly and perfectly, but I like to work with that spiral. So you're going, you know, you're moving your eyes and you're going into a center point. Or the focal point rather, not the center point. Another thing that I like is create the same thing, not only on the two-dimensional surface, but also in the depth. And you can see that I'm trying to curve the figures in the space, right? So as they move behind, they're kind of curving and going back. So these are the furthest away from us. And as they come this way, they're getting closer and closer till we hit the figures right here. It's more like it's going this way and then him, right? So it's more like that. In the space, in the depth, that's something that I am trying to convey, that feeling. So, and then, well, I have only 3 minutes left because then I have another private lesson that I must attend. But yeah, today a lot of good work. I hope that you also push through that, that experimentation, that, the boring, I have to paint this because it needs to be there and I don't know how, and and I have to train this, I have to do my scales with the piano, I have to do my exercise to get to that point where I want to be. But you know what? You're not alone. I'm here, so it's the same for me. No matter how far I am from you, or how big of a distance is between us. It doesn't matter if you are tall and short. This is just painting. Doesn't care about that. That's why I love painting so much, because it's really it has no it has no favorites. It only thinks about itself as a composition. In my eyes, that those are completely, you can disagree if you want to, but I really enjoy to share this information. And then also there is a lot of cool ideas that you guys brought through the comments, so it's awesome, and I'm looking forward to see you tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow we have that bed painting Friday, so you're going to be refreshed and you're going to be ready to experiment. You're going to be ready to throw some paint, maybe paint with a palette knife, maybe some kitchen utensils, which I love to use, maybe fingers, and maybe grab completely different medium. Maybe instead of painting with oil, you might grab a watercolors and have fun with watercolors a little bit, or gouache or tempera painting perhaps. So the possibilities are endless, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, tomorrow it's going to be fun, definitely. Looking forward. So take care. Bye, guys.